Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to you. Today we're going to dive into one of the most incredible narratives in the entire Quran, the story of the Exodus. But we're not just going to retell it. We're going to look at it as this amazing, almost cinematic story arc of power, of faith, and something we can call the geometry of divine justice. It's a powerful one, so let's get into it.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? The verses we're about to explore, they don't just tell a nice story, no. They reveal this timeless script about how tyranny works and how liberation is achieved. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a story with teeth, packed with strategic and moral depth. So, let's begin.
So, where does it all start? Well, our story kicks off not with some chaotic scramble, but with a crystal clear, precise command. This is Act 1. The divine logistics are officially in motion. Just take a moment and think about how much information is packed into this one single verse. I mean, this isn't a vague feeling or a guess. It's a detailed, strategic directive coming straight from the ultimate authority.
Let's just break this down for a second. First, it's a direct revelation. This isn't just a hunch Musa had. The timing, by night, tells you everything about the secrecy and the urgency of the mission. And listen to the wording. Allah calls them my servants, immediately elevating them from being Pharaoh's property to being servants of God himself. But here's the crucial part. There's no promise that this will be easy. The danger is spelled out. You will be pursued. God doesn't promise comfort here. He promises clarity, and sometimes that's what you need more.
All right, so for every action, there's a reaction, right? Now we pivot from the divine plan to the oh-so-predictable, almost textbook response of a tyrant who feels his power is threatened. This is the authoritarian playbook, and what's wild is that it was written down thousands of years ago, but it sounds like it could have been written yesterday.
So look at Pharaoh's first move. Does he charge out there himself in a fit of rage? Nope. He sent gatherers. He activates the system, the state apparatus, the bureaucracy, the enforcers. And this shows you something so important. Oppression isn't just one evil guy. It's a whole infrastructure, an organized machine built to keep people down.
And right on cue, the propaganda machine kicks into high gear. The first tool in the playbook? Belittle your opponent. He calls them a shirzima, an Arabic word that's just dripping with contempt. It means a small, broken, worthless little faction.
And let's be clear, this is not just ancient history. This is exactly how dehumanization begins. When you label a whole group of people as small or insignificant, you're trying to make their lives, their freedom, their suffering seem unimportant. The Quran is laying bare a tactic that has been used to justify unspeakable horrors throughout all of human history.
Okay, what's tool number 2? Make it personal. Notice the language. They have enraged us. The desire of an enslaved people for freedom isn't seen as a legitimate struggle. Oh no, it's framed as a personal insult to the ruler.
I mean, this is it, right? This is narcissism weaponized and turned into state policy. The tyrant's bruised ego suddenly becomes a national security threat. His personal anger is presented as an attack on the entire nation. It's a classic move, and it's incredibly effective at rallying people around you.
And finally, how does the tyrant's speech end? With a big show of overwhelming strength. He's got to reassure his base, and maybe even himself, that everything's under control. Don't worry, he's saying. We are strong, we are prepared, we are ready for this.
But what's really hiding behind all that public bravado? You know what it is. It's fear. This kind of loud arrogance is almost always a cover for a deep, gnawing insecurity. You see, when a leader feels the need to constantly shout about how strong they are, it's usually because, deep down, they feel their control slipping. It's just fear wearing the armor of pride.
So, the stage is set. The escape is made under the cover of darkness. Pharaoh's armies give chase at sunrise. And now we find ourselves at the edge of the sea. This is it, the ultimate moment of confrontation, the climax of the entire story. And in this single, terrifying moment, you see two totally opposite reactions. On one side, you have the people, and their panic is completely raw, completely understandable. They see the sea ahead of them, a furious army behind them, and they cry out, "That's it, we're done for, we're trapped." But then, just look at Musa's response. It is one of the most powerful declarations of faith you will ever read. He says, "Kala," which is like this super emphatic, absolutely not. And notice what he says next. He doesn't say, "My Lord will save me." He says, "My Lord is with me." It's present tense. It's about presence, absolute certainty, and a profound sense of calm in what looks like certain death. So what happens next? A command is given. Strike the sea with your staff. Just a simple piece of wood, a simple action. And the result?
the impossible happens. The sea literally splits in two, with each side standing tall like a massive mountain. The point here is that the miracle didn't just happen on its own. It came after an act of pure, unhesitating obedience. Faith in this story isn't just sitting around and waiting. It's actively and obediently moving forward, even when you can't see the path.
And now the whole perspective of the story just shifts in the most dramatic way. It's like the Quran pulls the camera way, way back, and it reveals that what looked like a chase was actually something completely different. We're about to see the careful, almost mathematical execution of divine justice.
And here it is. This is the crucial shift. Pharaoh, in his blinding arrogance, is totally convinced that he's the one in charge. He's the one calling the shots. But the Quran corrects the record. It says, "So we drove them out." The real agent, the true power behind this whole chain of events, is finally revealed. Pharaoh isn't the hunter. He's the one being herded.
So what exactly was the price of Pharaoh's arrogance? Well, the Quran lists it out, item by item. Everything he valued, everything his entire empire was built on, was taken away. His gardens and springs, his comfortable life, his treasures, his economic might, his honorable positions, his political power, his social status. It turns out all of it was just on loan, and the lease was just terminated.
And this is just a brilliant illustration that divine justice isn't random or chaotic, not at all. It has a kind of beautiful, perfect geometry to it. Think about it. Pharaoh, by chasing the children of Israel, literally walked himself and his entire army right into the trap that was set for him. His own arrogance became the very engine of his destruction. The end comes swiftly. It is total and it is precise. The verse says, Allah saved Musa and all who were with him, every last one. No collateral damage, a perfect, clean rescue. And the others? The Quran is blunt and heavy. Then we drowned the others. A quick, decisive, final end to the tyranny.
Now, the story could easily end right there, but the Quran zooms out one last time. It tells us, hey, pay attention. This isn't just a story about Musa and Pharaoh. This is a sign. It's a timeless lesson, a pattern that repeats itself over and over again for all of humanity to see.
And the whole chapter ends with these two beautiful names of God, Al-Aziz, the Almighty, and Ar-Rahim, the Most Merciful. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. The story we just walked through is a perfect demonstration of this divine balance. His might, Al-Aziz, is what brought justice to the tyrant, and his mercy, Ar-Rahim, is what saved the oppressed. You see, one without the other is incomplete. Power without mercy is just tyranny, and mercy without power is helpless. God has both, in perfect balance.
So what this story gives us is a blueprint, a repeating cycle that you can spot all throughout history. It starts with oppression. Then, a warning is sent. The oppressor doubles down with arrogance. That triggers an escape, which leads to a moment of divine intervention. And finally, a complete and total reversal of fortunes. This isn't just a one-off event. It's a pattern for how justice ultimately unfolds in our world.
And so that leaves us with one final challenging thought to reflect on. The Quran calls this story a sign, and signs are meant to be read in every single generation. The sea of impossibility still parts for those who have faith and take action. It just might not be a sea of water. So the real question for us is, where do we see this timeless pattern of oppression, arrogance, and divine reversal playing out in our own world, right here, right now?